Here's something you won't hear at a typical checkup. Your creatinine number, the one that shows up on almost every routine blood panel, isn't just a random lab value. It's one of the clearest windows your doctor has into how well your kidneys are actually filtering your blood. And for a lot of people, it's slowly creeping upward for reasons that have nothing to do with age or genetics, and everything to do with what's sitting in their cup or bottle every single day. Most people think about kidney health in terms of food, salt, protein, potassium. Almost nobody stops to think about their drinks. But some of the most common beverages in the average kitchen, gym bag, or fridge door are doing quiet, cumulative damage to kidney function, one glass at a time. Tonight, I'm walking you through 5 everyday drinks that may be gradually pushing your creatinine higher than it should be, including one that's marketed specifically as a health drink, which surprises almost everyone I share it with. Before we get into it, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss videos like this one, and drop a comment telling me which of these 5 drinks you have most often. I read every single one. Stay with me through drink number 5 because it's the one that fools the most health-conscious people in the room. What creatinine actually tells you. I'm Dr. William. After more than 15 years in internal medicine, I want to spend 2 minutes explaining what this number really means because it changes how you'll think about everything else in this video. Creatinine is a waste product created when your muscles break down a compound called creatine for energy. Your kidneys are supposed to filter creatinine out of your blood efficiently and send it out through urine. When your kidneys are struggling to keep up, creatinine builds up in the bloodstream instead, which is exactly why doctors use it as one of the simplest, most reliable markers of kidney filtration capacity. A rising creatinine level doesn't always mean disease. It can reflect dehydration, muscle mass, certain supplements, or a kidney filtration rate that's under more strain than it should be. But when it trends upward over months or years without an obvious explanation, your daily beverage choices deserve a much closer look than they usually get. The 5 drinks below aren't rare indulgences. They're things sitting in ordinary kitchens and gym bags across the country. Let's go through all 5. Drink number 1, sugar-sweetened sodas. The first drink on this list is also the most consumed, and the connection to kidney strain is now considered well-established. Regular soda delivers a large, fast dose of sugar, with essentially zero nutritional value, and that combination sets off a chain reaction that eventually lands on your kidneys. Frequent soda drinking is consistently linked to weight gain, elevated blood sugar, and higher blood pressure, the 3 biggest drivers of chronic kidney disease in the first place. The National Kidney Foundation has specifically flagged sugar-sweetened beverages as something to watch closely for kidney health, since the sugar load contributes to metabolic stress and low-grade inflammation that builds up over years, not days. Here's the part most people miss. Soda rarely damages kidneys directly and instantly. It works indirectly by quietly setting the stage for the exact conditions, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, that are the leading causes of declining kidney function and rising creatinine over time. What to do? If soda is a daily habit, cutting back to occasional rather than routine consumption is one of the highest leverage changes you can make. Sparkling or infused water with citrus is a reasonable substitute that doesn't carry the same metabolic cost. Drink number 2, energy drinks. The second drink is one that's exploded in popularity, especially among people trying to power through long workdays, and it may be one of the harder ones on kidneys pound for pound. Energy drinks typically combine very high caffeine doses with large amounts of added sugar, artificial sweeteners, and stimulant blends, all in a single can. That combination raises blood pressure and heart rate simultaneously, forcing kidneys to filter blood under more cardiovascular strain than they'd otherwise face. Case reports and clinical reviews have associated heavy, habitual energy drink consumption with acute kidney injury in some individuals, particularly when consumed in large quantities or combined with dehydration and intense exercise. The American Society of Nephrology has raised concerns specifically about habitual intake beyond 1 or 2 servings a day. For anyone already managing borderline kidney function, that added cardiovascular and metabolic load is exactly the kind of daily stress that can nudge creatinine upward over time. What to do? Treat energy drinks as an occasional tool, not a daily habit. If you rely on them for energy, a gradual caffeine reduction paired with better sleep tends to solve the underlying problem more sustainably. Drink number 3, Alcohol in regular amounts. The third drink doesn't need an introduction, but its kidney impact is less understood than most people assume. Alcohol is a diuretic, meaning it increases urine output and can quietly dehydrate you well beyond what you'd expect from the volume you drank. Dehydration itself is one of the most common and often overlooked causes of temporarily elevated creatinine. Beyond the dehydration effect, regular heavier drinking is associated with higher blood pressure and additional strain on the liver, an organ that works in tandem with the kidneys to clear toxins from the bloodstream. When the liver is under more load, kidneys often end up compensating, which adds to their workload over time. This isn't about the occasional drink at dinner. It's about the difference between occasional and habitual, and how that distinction shows up quietly in blood work months or years down the line. What to do? Alternating alcoholic drinks with water and keeping consumption to recommended moderate limits meaningfully reduces the dehydration and blood pressure load that alcohol places on kidney function. Drink number 4. Sports and electrolyte drinks. The fourth drink surprises people because it's marketed around hydration and performance, which sounds like the opposite of a kidney concern. But many sports and electrolyte drinks are formulated with substantial added sodium and in some cases added sugar, designed for athletes doing hours of intense, sweat-heavy exercise. For the average person using them casually, after a light workout, or simply because they taste better than water, that sodium and sugar load isn't offset by the intense physical exertion it was designed for. Excess sodium intake is a well-documented contributor to elevated blood pressure and increased kidney stone risk, both of which add pressure to kidney filtration function over time. The irony is that most people reaching for a sports drink aren't doing the kind of extended, high-sweat activity that would actually justify the added sodium and sugar. Plain water covers the hydration needs of the vast majority of everyday exercise. What to do? Reserve electrolyte drinks for genuinely intense, prolonged exercise sessions, an hour or more of heavy sweating, rather than a routine post-walk or post-gym habit. Water remains the better everyday default. Drink number 5, the one marketed as a health drink. This is the one I asked you to stay for, and it catches even health-conscious people off guard. Protein shakes and creatine-containing supplement drinks. Here's the twist that makes this one genuinely different from the other 4. Creatine, the compound in these shakes, is broken down by your body into creatinine, the very substance your blood test measures. So when someone who takes a daily creatine or high-protein shake gets blood work back showing an elevated creatinine number, it can look exactly like declining kidney function, even when the kidneys are working perfectly fine. Research reviews on creatine supplementation, including a systematic review and meta-analysis published in the medical literature, have found that elevated creatinine from creatine intake reflects predictable creatine metabolism, not kidney damage, and multiple studies tracking actual kidney filtration markers found no meaningful impairment in healthy adults using it at standard doses. But, and this is the real catch, the same rise in creatinine that's harmless in a healthy person taking creatine can also mask an actual early kidney problem, because it becomes genuinely difficult to tell from the number alone whether it's the supplement or the kidneys causing the increase. Very high daily protein intake from shakes, independent of creatine, adds its own separate filtration workload, since kidneys have to process and clear the nitrogen byproducts of that protein. For someone with already reduced kidney function, that added protein load can matter more than it would for someone with healthy kidneys. What to do? If you use creatine or protein shakes regularly, mention it to your doctor before any blood panel, so an elevated creatinine number can be correctly interpreted in context rather than mistaken for kidney decline. If you have any known kidney condition, talk to your doctor before starting or continuing creatine or high-protein supplementation. The bigger picture. None of these 5 drinks are guaranteed to damage a healthy person's kidneys on their own. The real risk comes from frequency and combination. A daily soda, a nightly drink, a post-gym sports drink, and a protein shake can quietly stack on top of each other in ways no single one would, each adding its own small piece of metabolic or filtration strain. The good news is this is one of the most controllable parts of kidney health. Unlike genetics or age, what goes in your cup is a daily choice, And small, consistent swaps compound in the right direction just as easily as they compound in the wrong one. When to call your doctor. If you've noticed your creatinine trending upward across recent blood panels, don't try to interpret it alone. A single creatinine number without context, your hydration status, muscle mass, supplement use, and overall kidney filtration rate, or eGFR, can be misleading in either direction. A basic metabolic panel that includes creatinine, eGFR, and electrolytes gives your doctor the fuller picture needed to know whether a rising number reflects a real kidney concern or something more benign, like dehydration or supplement use. If you are over 60, take any daily supplement containing creatine or high-dose protein, or drink any of these 5 beverages regularly. It's worth asking your doctor to check your kidney function at your next visit rather than waiting for a symptom to prompt it. A patient story. Let me tell you about a patient, David, 54, an active gym goer who came in concerned after his annual physical showed a creatinine level slightly above the standard reference range. He'd been taking a daily creatine supplement and drinking a protein shake after every workout for years, and the number understandably worried him. We looked at his full picture together. His eGFR was normal, his blood pressure was well controlled, and there were no other markers suggesting reduced kidney function. Once we factored in his substantial muscle mass and daily creatine intake, it became clear his creatinine reading was a predictable reflection of his supplement routine and muscle metabolism, not a sign of kidney decline. What we did change was his energy drink habit. 2 a day, most days, a habit he'd picked up years earlier and never questioned. Over the following few months, he cut that down to occasional use and replaced his afternoon soda with sparkling water. At his next check, his blood pressure had improved modestly, and his overall metabolic markers looked healthier, even though his creatinine, tied to his ongoing creatine use, stayed essentially the same. The number that had originally worried him turned out to be the least important thing to change. The habits sitting quietly underneath it were the real opportunity. Everything in this video is educational information based on published research and guidance from recognized kidney health organizations, not personalized medical advice. No one should stop or start a supplement or make major dietary changes without discussing it with their own doctor first, especially if you have an existing kidney condition, take medications affected by hydration or blood pressure, or have been given specific fluid guidance by your care team. Your action plan: 1. Sugary sodas. Cut back to occasional rather than daily. Swap in sparkling or citrus-infused water. 2. Energy drinks. Limit to occasional use. Address the underlying fatigue or sleep issue instead. 3. Alcohol. Alternate with water and stay within recommended moderate limits. 4. Sports and electrolyte drinks. Reserve for genuinely intense, prolonged exercise. Use plain water otherwise. 5. Protein and creatine shakes. Keep using if healthy and appropriate for your goals, but tell your doctor before any blood panel so your creatinine number is read in the right context. Start by identifying which 1 or 2 of these 5 are part of your regular routine and make one small swap this week rather than trying to change everything at once. What's next? If one of these 5 surprised you, tell me in the comments which one it was. I read every single one. If you want more research-backed content like this, hit subscribe. New videos come out every week covering what the science actually says about kidney health and healthy aging after 60. I'm Dr. William, and I'll see you in the next one.